Welcome to this video tutorial developed to support the Word document entitled Excel 2013 Pivot Table Training. This video will demonstrate the section entitled PivotCharts. So I'm now back in the 2013 Setbox 2 Pivot Table, and what we are looking at here is the full range of material subtype descriptions for all of health and technology centers. So this is health purchasing group 105, 109 and 113. We are displaying the consignee country name in the row section and the material subtype descriptions in the column section by the sum of US dollar value. So by clicking anywhere in the pivot table and going to the Analyze ribbon, you'll find the pivot chart icon over here, and we will just click this. And then what we see is the pivot chart wizard that pops up, and it has a lot of different options. Right now it's displaying a clustered column option where we have the countries and the material subtype descriptions. We can also display as stacked columns and as percentages, and there are a number of different ways to display the data, and I suggest to try and see which type displays the data best for the current need. But for this tutorial we will use the cluster column option and click OK. So now we see our pivot chart, and what we will do first is to just get rid of all these field buttons by right clicking and going to the hide all field buttons on chart. And what we will also do is to try and select a couple of our material subtype descriptions. So let's try and select cold chain equipment and diagnostic test kits. We do that by going to our pivot table and then selecting cold chain equipment, diagnostic test kits, and clicking OK. So this now changes our pivot chart to be simpler and display only these two material subtype descriptions. As this data set is very spread out over a huge range of different countries with a huge range of values as well, we'll just try and select the top 10 countries in regards to value to make the overview simpler. We'll do that by going to consignee country name, more value filter, and top 10. We will then pick top 10 items by sum of US dollar value and click OK. So we will now have a more simple, and I think it's easier for us to see the different values for cold chain equipment and diagnostic test kits. And to make it even more simple, let's take and sort it from highest to lowest value. And we go to consignee country name, more sort options. We will sort descending by US dollar value and click OK. So we can see the top value, Peru, then Zambia and Zimbabwe, and we are taking the grand total value. There are a number of ways in which we can now format this pivot chart. One way of doing that is to clicking the chart elements button up here, where we can then add or remove different chart elements. For example, we can insert data labels, so we can see the actual specific value. We can also insert a data table below the chart, and we will then need to make the chart somewhat bigger to see that. And we can put in a title and so forth. We can also press the chart styles button up here, where we are then able to select a few predetermined styles. And also what we are able to do is to go to our design ribbon up here, where we can then change the colors. We can go to quick layout and see different options, suggestions to easily and quickly change our layout of the pivot chart. What we can also do is to right click on any of the series, and then we can format data series, and this one appears where we can format it in numerous ways. You can also add trend line, format data labels. So it's just about trying out what suits the specific need for the specific situation. And from the design ribbon here, you can also change the chart type completely. If you have an idea that you want to change what you originally wanted the chart to look like, you can go to, for example, a combination, where you can insert a secondary chart to display, for example, diagnostic test kits as a line on a secondary axis. We can change it back again to a clustered column. We can even put the columns on top of one another as stacked columns, so that you can see the totals per country, and then you'll see the proportions of diagnostic test kits and cold chain equipment. And we can then add some data labels to see the specific numbers as such. But this is just one way of formatting, and the best thing to do, in my opinion, is to just try and see what best fits the specific need. So when you have finished your pivot chart, you can copy and paste it in any report. And this is all I wanted to show at this point for PivotCharts. Thank you.